Now, Prime Minister Modi is all set to dedicate the Sela tunnel in Arunachal Pradesh to the country, with the new route allowing for faster deployment of weapons, soldiers and equipment to forward areas near the line of actual control in the Tawang sector. Prime Minister Modi will remotely inaugurate the tunnel built by the Border Roads Organisation at a cost of Rs 825 crore from Itanagar. It is the world's longest twin-lane tunnel above 13,000 feet. The project is significant as winter connectivity to Tawang over the 18,000-foot past Sela had posed a logistic challenge for the army for numerous decades. Now, with the movement of men, weapons and stores severely affected for 3 to 4 months every year, the tunnel will now cut down the travel time to Tawang by at least 1 hour, as well as provide all-weather connectivity. Of course, you can see visuals of the spectacular tunnel on your screens. As I stated earlier, this is a twin tunnel. One of the tunnel has 2 lanes while the other has 1 lane. It is built by the Border Roads Organisation at a cost of Rs 825 crore. It is designed for traffic density of 3,000 cars and 2,000 trucks per day. There are 2 tunnels, as I stated earlier. One is about 1 kilometer long and the other is about 1.5 kilometers long. Joining us on the broadcast this morning is Group Captain UK Devnath, defence expert. Sir, good morning and thank you for joining us on NewsX. A major infrastructural project is going to be inaugurated today, that is the Sela tunnel. We have got some details regarding this, but it's not the details that are important at the moment. It is how exactly this tunnel will help ease of movement to Tawang, which is at an altitude of over 14,000 feet. It will help not just civilians but especially our armed forces in order to transport equipment and personnel as well. How do you view this development and how do you think it can help in the better functioning of our forces as well as combat preparedness?
Yes, Pia, a great development as far as our defense of nation is concerned. We should not forget that China still claims Arunachal Pradesh as part of its own territory. Also during 1962 war, one of the great battles fought with China on line of actual control was fought in area beyond Tawang. Almost our Jawans had to fight till last man, last soldier, last bullet at places like Bogdila, Hatungla, Jimitang, where we were at a little disadvantage because in those days our troops could not carry heavy weapons, heavy equipment, especially artillery and tanks to those contact points where skirmish took place with Chinese PLA. There was a great battle fought at Thagla, and one of the places where we fought till almost hundreds, in fact thousands of our troops perished within few days in October, November 1962. Now establishment of this tunnel will go in a great way because it will reduce the time, distance, and most important, it will reduce the stress and strain caused to equipment. The earlier route we had to climb almost to a height of 18,000 feet. So heavy guns, long trailers carrying long range rockets had to travel to great heights, negotiate very sharp bends, very precarious slopes. Now, in case there is an emergency, we will be able to rush our logistics mobilization very easily, fastest, and even heavy tanks. This tunnel has been designed specially keeping in mind Arjun Mail battle tank and other heavy equipment which are being inducted into the Indian Army and will be very useful during any skirmish or battle with China on these areas. Yes, Pia?
Indeed, and I'd also like to rope in Professor Madhav Nalapat, Editorial Director of the Sunday Guardian, into the discussion. Good morning, sir, and thank you for joining us on NewsX. Of course, Group Captain Devnath was speaking about how the Chinese are building up villages, especially around the Arunachal border. Now, there has been a concerted effort by Prime Minister Modi over the last decade or so to develop border areas. Of course, him terming Uttarakhand's Mana village, which was popularly known as India's last village, as India's first village, of course, has tried to, in a sense, bring about a perspective change in order to bring about a change on the ground. So what do you make of PM Modi's efforts over the years in order to ensure access to areas that were usually cut off earlier?
I'd like to say that Prime Minister Modi understands full well that deterrence is the most important component in avoiding a war. A war is caused when the other side believes you are weak and can easily be overwhelmed. Unfortunately, until Prime Minister Modi's time, that entire area fronting China was neglected. And as the group captain very correctly said, it was very difficult to move equipment and heavy weaponry into that area. Now, sufficient deterrence has been created, and as a consequence of the efforts put in by Prime Minister Modi over the last 10 years, it is very clear that India has significant offensive capability, and this will serve as a very important deterrent to a conflict. The idea behind this kind of build-up is not basically to provoke a war, but to deter a war. And the Chinese are naturally very unhappy because they would like to fight an enemy that is not prepared. The Chinese are, I'm sorry to say, the Communist Party of China, they believe in bullying. And you cannot bully India, at least certainly not during the last 10 years. So one, deterrence has been firmly established, and this very important Sela Pass is a factor in that. Secondly, it shows the importance of Indian engineering. The fact is that we can make tens and tens of billions of dollars if Indian engineering goes across the world. Already some Indian companies are doing well in engineering, but we can do 10, 20 times more because of the quality of our engineering and frankly the ingenuity of our engineers and the ability of our workers. So this particular tunnel shows the very, very high standards of Indian engineering, and I think it opens the way to a huge volume of sports, of similar engineering feats in different parts of the world. Infrastructure is a very important component in many countries, and I think in the next 3 or 4 years, India is going to enter the infra market globally in a very big way.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.